Okay, we back at it again, man. It's your boy Tommy Guns. This is the Quote Ghost podcast, and today we are going to talk again about Brett Cooper, the Daily Wire, and her departure, and her ex-best friend Regan Conrad taking over her spot, and the internet being in an uproar about it. Now, Brett obviously signed an NDA with Ms. Conrad. They can't really speak too much on it. They can't really say what really happened. And the Daily Wire has this thing where stuff like this happens in their company and they just leave it way out in the open for everybody to speculate on. And really, they don't really seem to care too much about how it tarnishes their reputation with their audience. They would just rather people not know anything. And that rubs me and a lot of other people the wrong way because, the Daily Wire is a big conglomerate corporation. If you didn't know that, they're like $1 billion corporation. They're not no small town YouTube family of content creators who are genuinely putting together content. No, they are a very big company with very big investors with a certain agenda that they want pushed. And if you don't align with that agenda, if you are not pushing the certain narrative that they want to push, they will get rid of you, vis-a-vis Candace Owens. I'm not saying that's what happened with Brett, but she decided to leave her very successful show for some apparent reason, But people have been speculating. They've been saying that she got pushed out, even though she didn't say she got pushed out. Pause. And saying that, she's not friends with Reagan anymore because she played a part in that. And she just took her spot and took acting classes to be just like Brett and blah, 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 blah. And everybody hates her. Everybody loves Brett. And the internet can't wait for Brett to drop new videos on her new channel. I'll leave that link in my description if I remember to. And if not, please put it in the comments so everybody can go follow Brett. But this person did not sign an NDA. She is not with the Daily Wire. And so she can really spill what she really knows about the situation. So we're going to watch this. We're going to react to it. I haven't watched the whole thing. And I'll leave a link to it for you to watch the whole thing if we don't get into the whole thing. But yeah, let's check it out.
Over the past week or so, I have watched the internet completely rip my cousin to shreds over something that is the furthest thing from her fault. And I've watched the one person who should have been in her corner and could have changed the narrative sit back and stay completely silent. So I, for one, am not going to stay silent, and I'm about to tell you exactly what happened. I suggest that you listen to this video and, in fact, even share
Well, she stayed silent because she has to legally, but okay.
this around because this needs to be spoken about and Regan's name needs to be cleared. I'm Riley Conrad and my cousin is Regan Conrad, who works for the Daily Wire and is the current host of the comments section on YouTube. The previous host was Brett Cooper. If you're unaware, the internet, especially Brett Cooper stans, have been up in arms over the fact that Brett Cooper recently decided to leave. There's been a lot of speculation over what happened, why did Brett leave?
And why were they up in arms? Because the Daily Wire and the set, even to the set that they made it seem really personal. People who, the 4 million people, almost 5 million, what used to be 5 million people followed that show because they felt like they had a personal connection with Brett, not so much with the comment section and Daily Wire. Same with me. I don't really like the Daily Wire or most of the commentators there, but I fuck with Brett.
Leave. The speculation unfortunately turned into rumors, and then the rumors were taken and ran with, and then my cousin just began to get hated on. And it's actually crazy the things that people are saying, and I want to set the record straight because unfortunately, while Regan and Brett were best friends, Brett has just sat back and watched this happen to Regan, and in fact, she removed all of her posts with Regan on Instagram and eventually unfollowed her too, which obviously made the internet even more skeptical of Regan.
I mean, sure it did, because if they was cool, and it was if it was an amicable split, then why aren't they friends anymore? Why wouldn't she still be following her? And why would she delete all her posts? It has to be something nefarious going on. And let me just say that this girl claims to be Reagan's cousin. She has the same last name, but there's no pictures of them, no evidence of that, online that I could find. And yeah, let's just say it's alleged, and she has deleted this video. Like, they probably came down on her, if like, you don't delete it, you're gonna get some legal problems and stuff. But I found this video on Reddit. It's not actually on her account anymore.
And it's just plain wrong, because Regan has done absolutely nothing but support Brett her entire career at the Daily Wire so far. It's rubbing me the wrong way. I'm about to talk. Here's what really happened. Brett chooses to leave over reasons that legally I don't believe I am allowed to say, so I'm not going to touch on them. And honestly, that's Brett's story. But moral of the story, Brett decided to leave. 100% Brett's decision. And Brett said that herself, although people aren't believing that. I do understand the circumstances are a little weird, but Brett chose to leave. That is what you need to know. And the rest of the story I'm about to tell you. So here's where Regan's part comes in. Regan was the producer of the comments section. Like I said, they were best friends. So whenever Brett decides to leave, Brett recommends to the Daily Wire that Regan step in and be the substitute host for a period of time.
Okay, now that's some relatively new information, because like I said, people are speculating that Brett was pushed out and she just couldn't tell anybody all the, behind the scenes stuff because of the NDA she probably signed. But this chick is saying that she chose to leave and suggested that her best friend step in for her and essentially take her spot.
So Regan, with her friend's blessing, decides that she is going to do this, and she loved it. Regan has always loved the Daily Wire. While Brett decided to step away, Regan has always really enjoyed her time there, and I personally have witnessed how much Regan loves to do research on Republican media. She loves all things Republican news. So this was perfect for her. I've watched her grow and flourish with the Daily Wire, and she has literally just stepped into each position full force. And
I guess that's facts, because this Reagan chick, she didn't just pop out of nowhere. She's been working for the Daily Wire in the comment section, I think, since the inception of the show. I think a lot of people think that, it's the show is Brett's creation, but the show is the comment section has always been the Daily Wire's, and they hired Brett as talent to be the host of the show. And I think there was another host even before Brett.
Absolutely loved her time being able to be the substitute host. However, that being said, Regan wanted them to continue searching for other hosts that could actually step in full time. So she's the substitute host while they're doing this search, and they decided they didn't like any of the other host options. They wanted Regan. So the Daily Wire reaches out and offers the position to Regan. Now Regan is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Brett has told Regan that she wants Regan to come with her, to leave the Daily Wire with her. And she told her that she could be her producer. However, that being said, it would be months before Brett knew of what she wanted Regan to exactly be doing. It would be months until Regan got paid by Brett.
More intriguing information. So Brett wanted Regan to leave with her and be her producer. So essentially Regan would have had to show some loyalty to Brett and come along with her and probably take a massive pay cut, because like I said, the Daily Wire is $1 billion corporation, and they was probably offering her a lot of money to take over Brett's position, and she would gain the visibility of being the host of the show, the fame and the fortune of that, rather than being loyal to her best friend and taking a smaller producer paycheck working with Brett. Even though I think Brett, when she started dropping, she immediately gonna start getting money though, but being a producer on your friend's show versus taking her show, I don't know. What would you choose?
And also, Regan would not be getting as much pay from Brett, that's for sure. The Daily Wire is able to pay her a great sum of money. Brett wouldn't be able to pay her quite as much. While Brett is doing quite well for herself, it wouldn't be able to be quite as much. So Regan would be taking a significant pay cut. Now, my cousin is doing fantastic in life, but I don't know about you. Most people cannot just take several months off of work and then also take a massive pay cut when they have expenses. So, all of that considered, along with the fact that Regan loves what she's doing, she believes in the Daily Wire, and she really enjoys being in front of the camera. She loves it. You can watch, guys. Like, everybody's accusing her of having acting classes. I can tell you, that is how Regan's always been. That's how she's always spoken. Yes, maybe they have some of the same mannerisms. They've been best friends. Who of you has a best friend and doesn't start kind of talking like them?
That's a great point. You know, when you're around people, especially every day, and you work with them, and like, especially people who are best friends, have a lot of the same mannerisms. They talk the same. They use the same like punchlines and jokes. You know, their laughs sync up. You know, if they're girls, their periods sync up and shit. You know, so. Maybe she didn't take acting classes. Maybe they were just very close and very alike. And she was her producer. She probably wrote a lot of Brett's scripts, or at least helped. So that's probably why the Daily Wire wanted her to even step in, because she was so familiar with the regular scheduled program.
Actually have the same lingo. So the acting classes, rumor, it's just that. It's a rumor. Regan has never had acting classes. She literally just does speak that way. That's how she is. Anyways, you can tell she loves it. She loves being in front of the camera. So she decides, even though she's between a rock and a hard place and does not want to offend Brett, she decides to take the position because she's meant for it, guys. I don't know how to explain to you. I've watched Regan grow over the course of her time there. And she used to be so afraid to speak up about her views. She actually came to me at one point when I was starting to do social media, and I was always talking about being a Republican and talking about my views. She came to me and said, Rye, how do you do that? Like, how do you unashamedly talk about your views and not worry about offending people? And I was just like, you can't worry about it. Like, you gotta be true to yourself. She grew from that over the course of the Daily Wire, being able to completely speak up about her feelings, speak up about what she knows, and be such a solid voice for Republicans, especially young female Republicans. She is a huge voice and makes a massive impact. Even as producer, she was doing that behind the scenes. She was doing that on her Instagram stories. So those of you accusing her of just stealing this role, she's meant for it. You just haven't given her a chance.
I can't say that she has the same star quality as Brett by far. I can't say that. I feel like watching her, I feel like she was meant for it. She's like the blonde version and more girly version of Brett, I guess. But I think I think that's the mistake she made by not being loyal to Brett and taking the position, because the comment section, at least for the foreseeable future, is going to be perceived as, you know, Brett's show, because she built it. She's been the face of it for a few years now. She built it to 5 million subscribers. That is Brett's show. So like I said, for the foreseeable future, she's going to be looked at as a Brett copy, a clone, an imposter on the show. You know, the Daily Wire should have did it in a less disingenuous way. They could have changed the name of the show, kept the channel, went away for a while, came back with her with a whole different name or something. Just the way that the comment section and Daily Wire just chose to do the whole thing, it really did a disservice to Regan, because she is a cool speaker. She has a very rosy, sunny personality. But like she said, I don't think people, at least at this point, are willing to give her a chance because they feel slighted, because nobody can speak up and really say the truth of what happened. So they are gonna leave, and they have been leaving that channel in droves. I think they've lost upwards of 600 or 700,000 subscribers at this point, and they're gonna lose more when Brett starts dropping videos on her already booming YouTube channel that has zero content on it. You know, so her being the host is like a gift and a curse, and it's probably more of a curse because that platform is on the decline. Yes, if she keeps doing it over time, people are going to get more familiar with her. And I think it's not a total loss and disaster if they just stay consistent, because consistency on YouTube is always rewarded, but it's always going to kind of be that caveat of, we think you don't deserve this because you took this whole thing from the perceived captain of the ship, which is Brett Cooper.
So Thanksgiving comes around and Regan is dealing with this, do I take it, do I not? She wanted to take it so badly, but you should have seen us in the basement of my grandparents' house, her being an emotional wreck, not wanting to upset Brett. That was her only concern. And I said, take away Brett's feelings, what would you do? She said, I would take it. I would love to take it. But if you include Brett's feelings, she didn't want to hurt her friend. But that being said, her friend decided to step away. It's different if Regan shoved her out. It's different if the Daily Wire forced her away. But she didn't. Brett chose to leave, and there was this open position that was then presented to Regan as, do you want this? After multiple weeks of searching for some.
Now, think about this. What if Brett chose to abruptly step away and the Daily Wire auditioned some people and eventually chose Regan to slight Brett because they knew that they wanted Regan. They knew that Brett wanted Regan to leave with her. So as one last FU to Brett from the Daily Wire, they chose to pit her against her best friend and give her an ultimatum like, if you stay with us, we will give you the show and pay you way more money than Brett's going to give you. I don't put that past the Daily Wire. I think that's probably what happened. And Brett was looking at Regan with the puppy dog eyes like, are you coming with me, best friend, maid of honor at my wedding, sticking with me and being loyal to me, or are you going to take the job that I don't want anymore? And Regan chose, because of cousins and friends like that, she chose to do the disloyal thing, in my opinion, and stay on the show. And that's what probably led to Brett defriending her, unfollowing her, deleting all the stuff, and saying F you, and speaking the way she spoke about the Daily Wire at that last event she spoke at. If you follow Brett, you know what event I'm talking about. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, man, I'll leave the link to this whole video in my description, and you can leave it in the comment section too. And I'll try to leave a link to Brett's channel as well. Let me know what you think, man. Do you believe this girl is Regan's cousin? Do you believe what she's saying about like, she's essentially blaming Brett for the whole situation? Do you think Regan should have taken the host position? Do you think she bit herself in the ass and in the foot by doing so? Or do you think she should have left with Brett, been her producer, and did the more loyal thing in the situation? Let me know in the comment section, man. If you found value in this, subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. Let's talk about it in the comment section. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.